بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم الحمد لله رب العالمين والصلاة والسلام على سيد الأنبياء والمرسلين نبينا محمد وعلى آله وصحبه أجمعين أما بعد. We usually take questions before Salat al-Jumu'ah. If you would like to submit a question, you can either download our app. It's available on both the App Store and on the Play Store, or you can go to our website, Hijrah, hijrah.org, and submit a question, inshallah.
The first question is دور الحرص في دار الهجرة من المفروض أن يكون دورهم حماية المسجد من أي خطر والوقوف بالأبواب احتمالا يصدي أي خطر وليس دورهم جمع تبرعات والأتوات مضن. So the question is that the role of Dar al-Hijrah, or the role of the masjid, is to protect the masjid from any type of danger. And the goal of the masjid should not be to collect funds and to collect means for the masjid. And I appreciate the critique of that, but the question I would have is like, why do you feel that's not happening? Right, this is the question I would have, is why do you feel that this is not happening? Instead of saying that, okay, well, your role is to protect the masjid, my question would be like, how would you like the masjid to be protected? There are different ways to protect the masjid, and there are different ways to engage in that. So you have stages concerning how to deal with and how to protect a space. Now, number one, what is the purpose of security? So when you have security in a masjid, what do you think their role is? Is their goal to protect? I'm just curious. What do you guys think? Their role is to protect? Okay, so in this room we have about, 200 people? Who do they choose to protect? What if the security's son is in here? What if his father's in here? Who does he choose? We don't have answers anymore? Right, and I'm not asking this because I'm trying to be difficult or facetious. I want us to really understand what security is supposed to do and what their goal is. The purpose of security, and if you actually deal with the Office of Homeland Security, if you've dealt with the FBI, if you've dealt with all these protection agencies, not in the sense that we want to invite them, but in the sense that they are the ones who give advice on how to make your masjid or your worship space or your business something that is called a hard target. Have you guys ever heard this term? A hard target? So you have a hard target and you have a soft target. When you have a predator or somebody who wants to hurt you, what does a predator always look for? Does it look for the strongest prey or does it look for the weakest prey? It always looks for the weakest prey. And it looks for the weakest prey, and he or she is going to look for the weakest prey, even when it comes to institutions, when it comes to buildings, when it comes to spaces. The purpose of the security is not to protect us. The purpose of the security is to make this space a hard target. Because if somebody was targeting this space, who would be the first person that they attack? The security, right? You know what I mean? And again, I'm not trying to be funny. I'm not trying to be facetious. It's very important for us to understand and put perspective on why we have these services in place. So this idea of protection, or this idea of protecting the masjid, or protecting the people, that's not their job. Their job, again, is to put up and make this a hard target, to make this a difficult space to enter. And that's what they're doing. We have one entrance and one exit. And the entrances and exits for the other spaces, if you find, there's only one way in here and one way in from the women's side. All of the other spaces are exits. There's one way out. And the reason is that when you limit the number of entry points, it becomes easier to guard and control those entry points. And again, here, even in this space, if I asked you, who is responsible for your safety? Who is responsible for my safety? Myself. Ahsant. I am responsible for myself. It is not fair to blame security. Like someone can say, we can blame the police, but we can blame the security, we can blame... At the end of the day, if I choose to stay here when I know that there's danger, can I blame the security? No. I can't blame the police, I can't blame the security. The only person I can blame is myself. And as for collecting funds, every institution is going to collect funds unless we as a community come up with a way to not collect funds. right? This is something that's important. But saying that, there are two things that happen in an institution, in an Islamic institution. You need to maintain the services that are being provided in that institution. So for example, we had 3 khutbahs today. Out of those 3 khutbahs, you have 3 paid staff who are giving those khutbahs. You have electricity. You have the masjid being cleaned. You have the bathrooms being taken care of. Most people, and this is something that we've all fallen into, when it comes to fundraising, and I said to you, okay, who wants to pay the executive director's salary? Who wants to pay the security salary? Who wants to pay the manager's salary? Who wants to pay the secretary's salary? You will have only a handful of people who are going to raise their hands. But the moment I say, who wants to build the masjid? Who wants to expand the space? You'll find a lot of people who are interested in that. And that's natural, right? Like, we don't feel our zakat and sadaqah should go to individuals because we want them to do it fi sabilillah, right? But there's a difference between fi sabilillah and free sabilillah, right? I can be a doctor, I can be a lawyer, I can be a plumber, I can be all of these things, and I can do it for Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala's sake. Doesn't mean I'm not allowed to get paid. All these individuals, they have families. All of these individuals need people to support. All these individuals are offering a community service that the people in the community themselves don't want to involve themselves in and don't want to offer. People need to be paid, right? It just boils down to that. There are people that need to be paid, and the only way, unfortunately, to do that is through collections. So unless we as a community are willing to purchase an apartment building so that there's funding from that building to come to the space, unless we as a community are willing to open an investment account where we have somebody who is managing those investments to make sure that either we're getting dividends or we're making the sales every time the profits are there, or they're investing in cryptocurrency, they're investing in land development. There are businesses that are subsidiaries that are owned by the larger institution. These are ways for the institution to make money. How many of us have introduced those ideas or have offered them? Right? These are things we need to think about. Because if we don't have a means of income, the only income that the masjid is going to rely on is what? Tabarru'at. Right? It's going to rely on donations. And if we don't like the donation model, that's fine. Right? I'm not going to tell anyone, say, no, you have to like it. What alternative are we presenting? Have any of us come to the masjid and said, hey, listen, I want to open up a business and I'd like Al-Hijrah to invest in it and I will manage the space. This is my history. These are the businesses that I've managed before, and I want the profit to go to Al-Hijrah. He can work under their nonprofit license. You know what I mean? It's just a matter of being a little creative and understanding how it is that we want to expand our spaces and how we want to utilize these spaces. And as for donations, those spaces will always be there, right? So if we want to maintain the electricity and the carpet and the staff and all these things, these businesses and these investments can maintain that. But sometimes you have projects. Right? So we want to change out the carpet, or we want to paint the space. That's an opportunity for people to donate, and you will find that most people are willing to donate to those opportunities. But if I said to you today, Al-Hijrah wants to start an investment account, and they want to start investing in stocks and bonds and all of these different opportunities, how many people would raise their hands knowing that there's a chance that the money that they're putting in is lost? It's tough, right? It's not easy. But these are chances and risks that we as a community have to learn to take. There's a saying in English, I don't know how many of you are aware of it, it's called scared money don't make money. If you're not willing to put that risk, you're not going to get that reward. And subhanAllah, even Islamically, the people who are at the highest risk are the scholars, are the qurra, are the mujahideen, are the kurama, are the people who are generous. Why? Because they're balancing between their entry into the highest levels of paradise or the lowest parts of hell. It's a high risk, high reward system, even in Islam. I can go through my life as an abid, as a worshipper, and it's a very safe path to Jannah, and may Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala enter us into His paradise, ameen. But without risks, there are no rewards. What risks are we as a community willing to take? May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala give us tawfiq. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.